People of Interest is sponsored in part by the Illuminati, reminding you that we do not exist and that you should keep living your life under that assumption.
The knock-knock joke is often overlooked when discussing the history of comedy. It is considered by many to be hackneyed and trite and is rarely enjoyed by anyone over the age of 11, with, of course, the exception of your one uncle who really needs to get his act together. However, the new book of my next guest, joke historian Arthur Gott, argues for a re-examination of the knock-knock joke in both comedy and culture. The book is called Knock Knock, Who's There? A Cultural Revolution, and traces the importance of the knock-knock joke from its first recorded instance in 1929 through its effects on World War II, jazz, every aspect of the 1960s, Reaganomics, and beyond. It is slated to hit stores next Tuesday. Arthur Gott, welcome.
Thank you. Well, if I may.
Please.
The knock-knock joke has been sort of just kind of pushed aside as sort of a childish sort of joke,
Right.
if you will, if they will, and they have.
Yes.
Just kind of pushed it aside. I don't think that it should be. I think it deserves its place in the hierarchy of the joke stadium.
Just sort of to take me back, what was the first knock-knock joke you ever heard?
Well, you mentioned uncles. It was about my Uncle Joe.
Okay.
Yeah. It was knock knock.
Who's there?
Do you?
Do you who?
Do you know who I am?
I'm afraid I don't quite.
Neither did I. And it's what set me on my path. I didn't get it. So I said, Uncle Joe, I need to know what makes this funny?
Right.
What makes this what it is? So I set on my path and I traversed the countrysides and states and countries and everywhere else, and I came across many a tale.
Yes. In your book, you talk about a knock-knock joke that Franklin Delano Roosevelt told to Winston Churchill before they met.
I forgot my art. My hand.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that your door as well?
What's that?
Is that your door, or is it a?
No, that's actually one of our readers' books.
Oh.
Well, not a reader at the time. As I was traversing the
Right.
countryside. That
You were
was a
literally-
photo I took. Like the other hand is me.
That was a tricky shot.
You'd think so by the look of it, but anywho, what?
You talked about a knock-knock joke that FDR shared with Winston Churchill that sort of really turned the tide of World War II and led to the easing. And why do you think that was so successful between the two of them?
The
joke.
knock joke.
Yes.
That FDR.
Churchill. That turned the tide of World War II.
Yeah. You want to hear the joke?
If you wouldn't mind.
Never been told before.
Except between here. Yeah.
They have very sensitive sense of humor. I
Right.
mean, I don't know if they will play.
Right.
If it will play here.
Okay.
I'll be FDR.
Okay. I'll be.
Yes.
Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Yalta.
Yalta.
Yalta into this peace treaty. The peace treaty was in existence. It was sewed up. And peace. Done.
So that's how World War II ended.
Less. I mean, you're not going to read that in history books.
Right.
Yeah, but more or less, yes.
How did you get access to, some of these? Like, I mean, obviously you must have very rich access to get into, FDR and Winston Churchill's private chats.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of it is the declassification of files. I mean, that happens after many years. A lot of companies, there are companies that are formed just to declassify, not to declassify, but to examine declassified files.
Right.
To examine all the files of NASA and find what may or may not be a case on the moon, or things like
Right.
that. Weird shit, and then make a huge story of it. So yeah, I hired one of those companies, and they went through the declassified files and found a bunch of. I gave them the keywords of knock knock.
Right.
And
who's there, obviously.
and who's there, obviously, sure. And they found a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Reagan is a huge fan of knock knock jokes. One of the things that you discovered. Do you think that shaped his presidency?
It shaped it in a negative way. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
One person cares.
About my demographic.
Yeah. I think it did. I think it did shape his presidency in a negative way. Because I mean, when you think of Reagan, I mean, one of the first thoughts that comes to mind is, well, assassination attempt. But the second thought that comes to mind is like the whole trickle down theory, and it's such like a buzzword.
Yeah.
And the reason it's a buzzword is because it's a punchline.
Really?
Yeah.
So, man.
Oh, you want to hear
Yes.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
I'm coming.
I'm coming too.
Trickle down. I didn't get it either. But the guys that I hired, that were searching through the many years of government documents, they found this.
Oh. Did they think it was funny?
No. No one thought it was funny. No one. Not people here, not people there, not people then.
Do you think a lot of people laughed, a lot of Reagan's, inner circle, do you think they laughed, like a polite laugh afterwards, or do you think that was met with sort of the same reaction?
You know what? The thing about Reagan is he didn't care for polite laughter. He wanted honest. If something wasn't funny, he preferred to hear that was dumb. That was dumb what you just said, President Reagan. He'd be okay with it. President Reagan.
Yes. So, one last thing that I just wanted to touch on. In your book, you take quite a few shots at why did the chicken cross the road?
This is one of the things we said we wouldn't talk about.
I do apologize. I do have one joke.
It's not a knock-knock joke.
Yeah.
It's got the setup of everything, but it's not a knock-knock joke. If you want to know why I'm taking shots, that's why I'm taking shots. It's easy. Anybody can. Why did the blank cross the road and just make up something?
But it's a knock-knock joke.
It's a knock-knock joke. Come on.
All right, well, Mark the guy. Thank you so much.
Actual support for People of Interest is brought to you by Philly Improv Theater, Philly's home for comedy. In addition to shows every week of the year, PHIT offers classes in improv, sketch, and stand-up. For more information, visit phillyimprovtheater.com.